Are you tired of the age-old debate about atheism versus belief in a higher power? Well, today we're taking a new approach to the discussion. We're not going to argue about who's right or wrong. Instead, we're going to focus on a more important question: which one makes you happier? We all want to live happy, fulfilling lives, but there's no one-size-fits-all solution. Some people find happiness in religion, while others find it in a secular lifestyle. So, let's dive into this thought-provoking topic. Let's start with scientific studies on the happiness levels of atheists and believers. Studies have been conducted to compare the happiness levels of atheists and believers, and the findings have been mixed. While some studies have found that religious believers tend to report higher levels of life satisfaction and happiness than atheists, others have found that the difference in happiness levels between the two groups is not significant. One explanation for why religious believers may report higher levels of happiness is that religion often provides a sense of purpose, meaning, and community, which can contribute to overall well-being. Additionally, religious individuals may find comfort and support in their faith during difficult times, which can help them cope with stress and adversity. On the other hand, atheists may find meaning and purpose in other areas of life, such as relationships, work, or personal passions. Furthermore, atheism is often associated with a critical and analytical mindset, which may lead to a more realistic or pragmatic outlook on life. It's also important to note that happiness levels can vary within each group of believers and atheists, depending on factors such as socioeconomic status, life events, and personality traits. For example, a religious individual who experiences a traumatic event may experience lower happiness and well-being levels than an atheist with a strong support system and coping mechanisms. While studies have provided some insight into the happiness levels of atheists and believers, it's important to recognize that individual differences and circumstances play a significant role in determining overall well-being. Rather than focusing on group differences, exploring the various factors that contribute to happiness and well-being, regardless of religious or non-religious beliefs, may be more productive. So what are the pros and cons of being an atheist? Atheism, or the lack of belief in a higher power or deity, has been a controversial topic for centuries. While many individuals find solace and purpose in their religious beliefs, others find fulfillment in a life free of religious dogma. However, when it comes to happiness, there are both pros and cons to being an atheist. Here are the pros of being an atheist. 1. Freedom from religious dogma. Atheists are not bound by the rules and regulations set by religious beliefs and practices that they do not agree with. This can provide a sense of freedom and autonomy, allowing individuals to live their lives according to their values and beliefs without the pressure of conforming to religious doctrines. 2. Personal responsibility. Atheists believe that they are responsible for their actions and their own lives. This can lead to a sense of empowerment and control over their own destiny. Rather than relying on a higher power or deity to guide their lives, atheists take responsibility for their own choices and actions, leading to a greater sense of personal agency and self-determination. This can contribute to a greater sense of happiness, as individuals feel more in control of their own lives. 3. Open-mindedness. Atheists tend to be more skeptical and analytical, which can lead to a more open-minded and critical approach to life. They may be more willing to question societal norms and challenge traditional beliefs, leading to a greater understanding of the world and the people around them. This can lead to a more intellectually stimulating and fulfilling life, which can contribute to overall happiness. 4. Equal treatment. Atheists do not discriminate against individuals based on their religious beliefs. This can lead to a more tolerant and accepting society, where people of all beliefs are treated with respect and dignity. This can contribute to a greater sense of happiness and well-being, as individuals feel more accepted and valued in their community. So what about the cons of being an atheist? 1. Social isolation. One potential downside of being an atheist is the potential for social isolation or exclusion. In areas where religious beliefs are strongly held, atheists may feel like they don't belong, or are unable to participate in certain social circles or events. This can lead to feelings of loneliness or a lack of social support, which can negatively impact overall happiness and well-being. 2. Lack of community. Another potential challenge for atheists is a lack of community or sense of belonging. Religious communities often provide a support system and a sense of shared purpose that can be difficult to replicate outside of a religious context. Atheists may struggle to find a similar sense of connection and support, which can lead to feelings of isolation or disconnection. 3. Fear of death. Atheists do not believe in an afterlife or higher power to help them cope with the fear of death. This can be a challenging concept for some individuals to grapple with, particularly if they have a strong fear of death or uncertainty about what happens after they die. However, it's worth noting that many atheists find comfort in the idea that death is a natural part of the cycle of life, and that we should focus on living our lives to the fullest, rather than worrying about what happens after we die. 4. Moral relativism. Without a religious moral code to guide their behavior, some atheists may struggle to define their moral values and principles. This can lead to a sense of moral relativism or uncertainty about what is right or wrong. However, it's worth noting that many atheists still adhere to strong ethical and moral principles, even if they don't derive them from religious teachings. Many atheists believe in the importance of empathy, compassion, and treating others with respect and dignity. So now that we know the pros and cons of atheism, let's move on to the pros and cons of being a believer. Belief in a higher power or religious faith can provide individuals with a sense of purpose, community, and comfort in times of adversity. This can ultimately lead to greater levels of happiness and well-being. However, it's important to note that there may also be drawbacks to being a believer. Here are the pros of being a believer. 1. Sense of purpose. Believers often have a strong sense of purpose and direction in life, which can provide a sense of meaning and fulfillment. For many believers, their faith provides a roadmap for how to live their lives and make decisions. This can provide a sense of clarity and direction that may be lacking for non-believers. Believers may find comfort in the idea that their actions have a greater purpose and that their life is part of a larger plan. This can be particularly comforting during difficult times, as it may help believers to see their struggles as part of a larger story or journey. 2. Community. Religious communities provide a sense of camaraderie and shared values that can be difficult to find elsewhere. Believers may find comfort in the knowledge that they are part of a larger group of people who share their beliefs and values. Religious communities also often provide opportunities for socializing, volunteering, and supporting one another in times of need. This can create a strong sense of social support that can be particularly valuable during difficult times. 3. Coping with adversity. Believers may find comfort and strength in their faith during times of adversity, such as illness, loss, or trauma. Believers may find solace in prayer, meditation, or other religious practices that help them cope with difficult emotions and experiences. Faith can provide a sense of hope and optimism that can be particularly valuable during times of crisis. For many believers, their faith provides a sense of comfort and security that helps them to navigate life's ups and downs. Additionally, religious teachings may guide how to cope with difficult situations, such as forgiveness, compassion, and acceptance, which can be beneficial for mental and emotional well-being. So what about the cons of being a believer? 1. Dogmatic thinking. Believers may be more prone to dogmatic thinking or rigid adherence to religious beliefs and practices, which can limit their ability to question or critically evaluate their beliefs. This can lead to a closed-minded approach to life, which can negatively impact overall happiness and well-being. 2. Conflict with non-believers. Believers may experience conflict or tension with non-believers or individuals of different faiths, which can create feelings of isolation or exclusion. This can lead to a sense of us versus them thinking, which can be harmful to relationships and social connections. 3. Fear of punishment. Believers may experience fear or guilt related to the potential consequences of not adhering to religious teachings, which can create anxiety and stress. This fear of punishment can also lead to feelings of shame or inadequacy if individuals feel like they are not living up to religious expectations. Both atheism and religion have contributed positively to society throughout history, each in their unique way. Therefore, it cannot be accurately stated which side makes one better or worse off. Rather, it is an individual's open-mindedness and willingness to accept the change that will guide them along whatever path they choose. After all, no matter who you are, or which religion or lack thereof you choose to follow, happiness will always be found somewhere within, as long as life's journey dictates that you stay open to ideas and willing to learn more. We hope this discussion has given you some insight into the pros and cons of both perspectives. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more thought-provoking content. We appreciate your support and look forward to continuing the conversation with you in the comments section.